What's up, YouTube? It is Logan Bricks, and today I am bringing you a review of Jabba's Palace, set number 9516, and it contains 717 pieces. Now, as I was saying, I am going to be able to bring you vintage, quote-unquote, reviews every single weekend. This set actually was released in 2012. It now is 7 years old, which is crazy. Not officially, like this isn't its birthday. It just is 7 years old because it was like came out in 2012. But anyway, this set originally retailed for $120, but nowadays you can find it for a variety of prices from $80 to $200. It's an extremely collectible set, that is for sure. A lot of these minifigures have risen in value dramatically since 2012, especially like all of them except Han Solo basically have really just tripled, quadrupled in value because of the extreme amount of collectability, which is why, in my opinion, this is the best Lego Star Wars set of all time. I think it's better than every single UCS set. Now, that's just an opinion. That is just an opinion. You don't have to agree with me. It's just my opinion. But I really do believe that this set is an absolutely fantastic set. So I decided for it to be my first vintage set review of Vintage Weekend. And again, this will happen every single weekend. I'm going to review an old set that came out in the past from Lego Star Wars' history. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the minifigure. So the first minifigure that we have here is the Gamorrean Guard. Now, for the time, this was actually the second Gamorrean Guard that was ever released. The first one, my apologies, it was actually the third Gamorrean Guard. There were two Gamorrean Guards before it, and they had this weird sand green color. When they made this one, it was a massive upgrade. I mean, this minifigure is detailed. As you can see, that leg printing there completely goes up with that torso printing. I guess you can kind of call it torso printing. It's more like torso molding. The Gamorrean Guard itself actually has no torso printing, as you guys can see there. I'm sorry about the camera. But yeah, it's got no torso printing, but the important part is this part right here. So the actual head mold itself is extremely detailed. Like for 2012, this is fantastic. 2012 really outdid themselves when you look back at that year as far as molds go. This is fantastic. You got the belt, the shoulder pads. This Gamorrean Guard is really just a fantastic mold. If they ever remade Jabba's Palace in the future, I believe that they shouldn't change the Gamorrean Guard at all. This is a perfect mold. I think they should bring it back if they ever want to make Jabba's Palace again. 10 out of 10 minifigure. This minifigure looks absolutely fantastic. And there's a look at the back right there. The next minifigure we have here is Bib Fortuna. Now, Bib Fortuna is one of the most collectible minifigures out of this set, and he dramatically rose in price. I'm not sure what the modern day pricing of this minifigure is, but I know for a fact that it rose a crazy amount. Anyway, but this minifigure is, again, absolutely fantastic molding. Look at that headpiece. That headpiece there looks absolutely great. There's a look at it from the back there. It captures Bib Fortuna perfectly. Right over there on the torso printing, we get some basic torso printing with kind of metal armor, as the thing that he wears in the movies. And then that's basically it. I do not believe that there's any back printing. Yeah, as you guys can see there, there's no back printing. And basically, you can remove this thing, and some of the minifigures will have a secondary face. Bib Fortuna does not have a secondary face, but it's okay because this face is perfect. Again, 10 out of 10 minifigure, great printing, great molding. So right here we have Bausch, Boosh, Bosch. I've heard it many different ways. It's Princess Leia in disguise. And again, another fantastic minifigure here. She comes with some great printing on her torso and of course on the leg print as well. Just absolutely fantastic printing. The helmet mold is perfect as well. And I'm not mistaken, this was also the first set to feature a 1x1 printed thermal detonator, which they continue to use today, and it looks great. Also, we just get a brick-built staff that fits the character and just looks like the one that they have in the movie. Underneath the helmet, though, we have, of course, Princess Leia's face, a much more happier kind of happy face, and then a angrier kind of sullen face. A little bit of a backpack there, not much of one though. They like to use that piece in a lot of backpacks nowadays. I don't know why, but they really love it in backpacks. But she does have some back printing. Anyway, right there is the back printing, and it looks great as well. We get that metal armor piece. They like to have metal armor on their bounty hunters, I'm not sure. But again, it looks just like the one in the movie. 10 out of 10 printing. This minifigure is absolutely fantastic. So right here, we have Ula, the slave of Jabba the Hutt, or rather the first slave that is mentioned, and then eventually Princess Leia becomes the next slave. But Ula herself, again, another expensive minifigure out of the set. Fantastic printing. That torso print is just like the outfit that she wears in the movie. That leg print, again, same thing. Great, very great representation of the movie itself. On the back of her, again, we see the printing really great. You can print with this $120 set. We get the basic Twi'lek head mold, basically. Again, looks great. It's the only one that we believe we've gotten in green, which is kind of interesting fact there. Again, there is 2 heads, so we get a kind of frightened when she's falling down the Rancor pit kind of frightened face, and then we get a happier face. And then if you want to see the one with the Rancor, there's that. Anyway, that is it for Ula. So the next minifigure we have here is Chewbacca. Now, Chewbacca, this is the old printing of Chewbacca, or rather the old molding and printing of Chewbacca. This is one of the last sets to actually use this printing. A pretty fun fact right there. I actually kind of miss this old version of Chewbacca, especially compared to the new one. The new one's great, but for me, Lego Chewbacca is this Chewbacca. He didn't come with any sort of special accessory except for the handcuffs there, and then of course there is his back molding on the print, or the back print on the mold. Again, this is all one piece, if you're wondering, similar to all Wookiees nowadays, if I can kind of get that out of the way. Okay, I can't, but it's one piece, just like the Wookiees nowadays. And here we have Han Solo in Carbonite, or rather not Han Solo in Carbonite, but the Han Solo that's in the Carbonite should be more of a correct phrase. This was actually the first version of this Han Solo that we ever got, with the white torso. They obviously have used it in the future, as in they've used it now, but back then this was the first tan printing that we've gotten of this white torso. Basic brown legs, again, basic brown hair mold, and I kind of miss this hair mold on the Han Solos. The new one, to me, it's not Han Solo to me. I feel like this very basic hair mold that they also used on Luke Skywalker there for a while is Han Solo hair. Anyway, again with certain other minifigures, we have a secondary face, being the Han Solo and Carbonite face. Next we have Salacious B. Karam. Now this guy, another expensive piece. I don't know why, but a lot of these things are so collectible, and this guy is no exception. A very, very, very expensive piece to buy on its own. It looks great. Again, it captures the character perfectly. Curly tail there, and really great molding all around. Really great printing on the mold itself. It just looks great. I really have nothing else to say, except for the fact that he kind of falls over very easily. When you just barely hit him, as you can see, he's not very sturdy, which is a bit of the problem, but other than that, this minifigure, or rather just figure, I don't know what you're going to call it, is he a minifigure or is he a just animal, is great. Now for the last minifigures, we do not need the stick, unfortunately. This is a Bomar monk, and it looks just like the Bomar monk. It's a little bit undersized compared to the Bomar monks that we see inside of the movies, but it looks great. It uses swords as legs, and then it uses a kind of star, I don't even know what you want to call that, glass piece as the underside of it. This looks just like the Bomar monks, though. They did a really great job. I think a sword was the best thing that they could have used in that situation. And finally, we have the most expensive one. This is Jabba the Hutt. And wow, this is a great Jabba, if you look at him very closely, that is. The old Jabba is using, again, that weird sand green, and this Jabba does not do that, and it looks 1,000 times better. This minifigure, or rather big fig, if you want to call it that, is, again, just a really fantastic mold. It is 2 pieces, a head and a body, and it's connected by one of those bionicle pieces. I don't know what you want to call those. A Lego Technic pin piece, and it connects both of them, and it just snaps in like that. It has full rotation in case you want it to look very strange and you want to do that, but he does have the same wrinkles there as he does in the front, so I guess you could do that. Some more wrinkles on the back of his head, and then he gets a little bit of an arm tattoo there, and then of course the tail itself. This is a fantastic big fig slash minifigure. That's why it's so expensive nowadays. But again, this is like the best Jabba that they could do. If they ever made Jabba's palace again, I think they just need to use this exact same mold and print. 10 out of 10 from me. So that is it for the minifigures, and we're going to be moving on to the build. Now, Jabba's palace has a lot of interesting features in it. It is an absolutely fantastic set from both a playability aspect and a looks aspect. It looks just like the real Jabba's palace, and its play features are fantastic as well, and they add to the set so much. As you can see, it uses the dark tan sand coloring, and then of course the tan sand coloring to kind of make Jabba's palace look like Jabba's palace. It actually is divided by two sections, being the tower and then the main body. We're gonna go ahead and get started though over here on the tower. So right over here we have the little droid that pops out and then talks to C-3PO and R2-D2. I can't really get that. I'm gonna have to scoot this back a lot further than I thought I would. But there's the little droid thing that talks to them. This is seen throughout Star Wars: The Clone Wars as well, but not too much in the original trilogy, except for that. And then of course it's not gonna be seen at all in the new trilogy. But anyway, the tower has some great detailing on it. It used this kind of stud piece that pokes out a little bit to kind of make a textured wall. And in addition to that, it's got a beautiful tower on top, and it does have a gun out in front of here. So this is kind of like a security gun, to where if they don't know you and they don't like you, then they'll turn on the gun and it'll shoot you. Anyway, it just stops intruders from coming into the palace. Over here, though, there is another play feature that involves with the gate. So the gate can actually be risen, and there's a little pin up here that you just do that. And right there, that will keep the gate up. And if you want the gate down, all you have to do is hit that pin backwards again, and the gate will slam down. Over here, though, on top of Jabba's palace, there's a very odd play feature. That little red thing right there, which is actually orange, but it looks red on camera, is kind of a weird play feature. On the back of here, there is a pin. When you push the pin, the missile will fly out. And I'm not sure what this is supposed to represent. I don't think Jabba's palace actually had a missile in it on the top of it. It's more just a dome. As in case you guys didn't know, this is actually a Bomar monk temple that Jabba kind of called his own, which is why the Bomar monk is included in this set, because this is actually a Bomar monk temple on Tatooine. Anyway, that is basically it for all the outside play features, but we're going to move on into the inside. And right here, it's a little dark. So what you can actually do is you can remove the entire top of the palace. And it is just one big kind of piece. It kind of reminds me of a weird UFO, but it just comes off like that, and you can kind of see the inside much better. We're going to go get started over here in the corner, though, as far as the corner of the tower, that is. There isn't any play features, but right there is the pin that moves out the droid that will talk to the visitors. So that guy, I believe he actually has a name. I just can't remember what it is. Up here, though, there's a gun and then a bottle with a crate. That's basically all they can really do. It's kind of like a filler room on top of this tower. But anyway, on the top of the room, there is binoculars and a blaster right there in case the guard is watching out. This is kind of like the entire purpose for the Gamorrean guard. He can kind of, you know, look through that, and he can be up here or he can be up there. The top of the tower, I actually can't show you, but I can remove this entire tower piece like so to separate the palace part and then the tower part. So if you wanted to, in a kind of display purpose, you could have the tower in the background, and then you could have the palace part right there. And then it makes it look much kind of cooler, and you could rearrange that in any order in case you're wondering if you want to buy this in the future for display purposes. The top of the tower itself, though, just a small little dome there, and that is basically it. It very much imitates the main palace. But again, that just clips in right there, if you guys can kind of see that. And it will clip in. And we'll remove the lid again, or dome, I should say. And this is the inside of the palace. Now, the palace has a lot going on it. So right here is Jabba's little platform that he can be on. And you can push the platform back, and then back here, you can push the platform forward. And why would you do that? If you've never seen Star Wars, well, then you would wonder why. But if you've seen Star Wars, right here is the trapdoor that delivers everybody into the Rancor pit. Now, I have a bit of a story now that we're getting on to the Rancor pit. In 2013, I had a bit of a drought year with Lego where I didn't buy much Lego. I was into other things at that time, so I actually wasn't able to get the Rancor pit. It's one of my biggest regrets in terms of Lego because the Rancor pit, this set feels incomplete without the Rancor pit, and I'm very sad that I don't have the Rancor pit. But anyway, it still works as a trapdoor because actually in the back of the box, when you originally owned it, you could place a minifigure underneath there, and you could still slide it over. I guess Bib Fortuna is a bit too tall, but you can slide Ula underneath there, and she will fit underneath there in case you don't want to spend another like $150 on the Rancor pit, in case you're deciding to buy this nowadays. Anyway, on top of the platform, I can go ahead and place Jabba inside of there, and he's supposed to clip in on those studs right there. But as you guys can see, it's actually kind of difficult to clip him in there. So they designed it so that you could completely remove the platform. Now I'll go ahead and place him on there now. So there you have it. There is Jabba on his little platform there, but you can also take those two clips right there, and you can put Ula on them. And you can have her sitting down, or you can have her standing up. For this demonstration, I'm going to have her standing up. We're not going to place it in there yet because there's a little bit underneath this kind of throne. Back here, I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see it, but I will angle the entire palace over. But back there, there's actually a pan and fire back there. I'm not sure what Lego was thinking by including such a random thing, but that really reminds me of the old Lego Harry Potter sets that include a lot of random stuff, and I absolutely love it. I love when Lego includes really, really random, strange things inside of their sets. But underneath the actual palace throne, I should say, I don't know if you want to call it a throne, more like a platform, there is a frog, a blaster, and some gold coins right there. And there's the gold coins, the blaster, and the frog. But basically, when you got your Jabba on top of the platform, you can then slide him in pretty easily. It doesn't require too much thinking. There we go. And he looks pretty nicely in there, and it fits pretty nicely. But anyway, Han Solo and Carbonite can actually remove right here. And this is the kind of other minifigure. They actually, on top of the box, make this seem like another minifigure. But it has some great printing on there. You can see Han Solo right there. It's got the buttons on the side of the platform that he's frozen onto. And you can take Han Solo, and you can clip him right here. And they've used the same method since this set was made, each time they've ever done it. And then you can have them inside of there. So if you ever want to have them defrost, you can take them out. Pretty cool play feature on its own. This is a really great piece, and I'm really glad they had the idea of making this. The old version of it was just one brick, and that's kind of strange because, I mean, not much playability. You can't defrost just a brick. You have to have a minifigure inside of it. So that is a very great feature. Right over here on the corner, though, there is a kind of food/smoking thing that just fell over, and that is kind of the problem. The only real problem with engineering in the set is this little thing right here. It hits the platform when you take it off, and it falls over. But Jabba can actually hold that, as you guys can see here. He can actually hold that. I actually couldn't get it to have him hold it in his hand, but I know you can. You can actually put a stud underneath there, and then you can clip it into his hand. But for right now, we don't need to do that, so we're just going to set it right there. That's a very unique build as well. It uses like this weird wrench piece and a dome and a frog. It's very strange kind of build right there. We have a crate over here that you can hold anything inside of, being other thermal detonators, blaster. And then over here, we have two tables that represent the tables that are inside of Jabba's palace. And you can have your bounty hunters standing there. I know she's not a real bounty hunter, but for right now, she can stand right there. And then Bib Fortuna can also stand right there. There's actually one more thing this thing can do. In addition to removing the tower, you can actually take off this entire back section there to get some more playability out of the whole thing. So you can also remove the dome. So the dome and then the back side of this can all be removed for this absolutely cool play scene that really opens up the size of Jabba's palace. If you wanted to, you could have this massive palace like this, where you have a wall here, the main palace here, and it really opens up the entire scene, and it looks fantastic. But yeah, that is basically it for the fantastic set this is. If you guys ever get the opportunity to buy this set, I highly do recommend it. This set is my favorite Lego Star Wars set, and if you ever get the chance, please buy it. I highly do recommend. Anyway, that's all for today. Again, we got the usual things right here. Be sure to subscribe, leave a like, and please comment your opinions on this video. I want to see your opinions, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!